Hello, and welcome to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast with your host, me, Hal Coleman, uncensored and unplugged. Pay attention, take lots of notes, because you're going to find out exactly how to get more new customers, more referrals, and grow your business.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet Audio and Video Guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Well, this is Hal Coleman, and welcome to another episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. I'm here again, as always, with my good friend and mentor, Mike Stewart, the Internet Audio and Video Guy. How you doing, Mike?
You know, it's a great day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful, sunshiny day this summer. Of course, you may be listening in winter, but I'm having a blast, and it's wonderful.
Let me ask you a question.
All right.
Do you enjoy doing these podcasts as much as I do?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you look forward to them?
Oh, yes. I learn even though I know a lot, I learn. Yes.
Do you think that we're maybe making an impact on some people's lives in the pest control industry?
From all indications, yes. Everything I see says yes. All signs point to yes.
Now, we're going to keep doing them, aren't we?
Absolutely yes.
Well, that's good because that you just now have led me right into what I want to talk about today, Mike, and that is asking questions that are going to get a yes answer. See, I just made you say yes to me 4 times, and to show that if I ask the right questions, I can get anybody to say yes to me. Now, excuse me, our friend and mentor Larry Latimer told me one time years ago, he said, Hal, he said, you can get anybody to say yes to anything if you just say the right question. He said you could. He said it's amazing. So he said, really good salespeople know what to say to people, but great salespeople know what to ask people. They just simply ask questions. And Larry told me once about a guy that they had at MetLife where they sold insurance, and who sold more insurance than anybody. He was their top salesman. And Larry said, what is it that you say to people? What do you tell people in order to get them to say yes to you? He said, I don't tell them anything. He said, all I do is ask them questions over and over and over again. And the last question I ask them is, would you like to go ahead and sign and buy this? And they say, yeah. He said, so this is very important when you're trying to sell somebody something, and let's take termite and pest control. You want to ask questions that the homeowner is going to say yes to, because what you're doing is you're conditioning their subconscious mind to say yes to you over and over and over again. It's kind of a hypnotic technique. It's very sophisticated. It's based in neuroscience and hypnosis, and if they say yes to you over and over and over again, then when you finally ask them for the sale, they're conditioned to say yes to you. And this is very important. And I hear people all the time, when somebody signs into my coaching program, we do a lot of role playing just for me to kind of see where they are in their selling and their marketing mindset. And they'll ask questions like, well, you don't want termites to damage your home, do you? No. Well, that's a no answer, see? See, if they ask me enough questions that I say no to over and over again, then when they ask for the sale, without even realizing that, I'm going to have a hesitancy and maybe say no. But if they say, rather than, you don't want termites to damage your home, do you? No. To say, You want to protect your home from termite damage, don't you? Yes. You see the difference there, Mike?
Well, there's a lot of science about that, Hal, and I'll share with you some of the science that I've learned over the years. There was actually a study years ago that when children and any human being is constantly hearing negative terms, that the subconscious is programmed with all those negative terms. And that was the definition of and the explanation of why positive reinforcement and affirmations can help people get out of their negative and really unproductive, unsuccessful mindsets. They were saying that when children, if all they ever hear is no, 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 and there's more negative programming in your subconscious than there is positive, lots of times, and I guarantee you've met them, you meet very negative people. So it's not just hooey. It's like, how wrong is it to say, now you want to rid your homes from termites?
Yes.
As opposed to, you don't want termites, do you? It's the same question, but framing it to where you get a positive response is going to set the subconscious psychology and psyche to be in a positive, accepting mode. One of my mentors that I don't know if you ever heard of, Hal, Harv Eker, I've spoken on his stage, T. Harv Eker. He will say, you want to do this, yes or yes? And people would laugh. But I actually got to ask him, he said, I don't ever want to say no in a presentation.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And, now some people may be listening to this podcast right now saying, well, that's kind of trickery. That's a little manipulative.
Yeah, I actually heard people say it's evil,
Yeah, trick people into it. But here's the thing. If I believe, if you're a prospect for me, Mike, and you've got bugs in your house, you've got bed bugs or termites or cockroaches, or you've got rats or mice, and I truly believe that I am the best at what I do. Mm-hmm. And I believed that when I owned my company. And most people I ask, I say, do you believe you're the best? They say, absolutely. And do you believe that if somebody's going to spend $1,000 on a termite treatment with either you or one of your competitors, and you truly believe that it would be in their best interest to do business with you, that you will give them better service, more honest service, and you will work harder to make them happy than any of your competition, then you owe it to that person to persuade them to make the right choice and do business with you. You have a moral obligation to that prospect to persuade them to do business with you. So, that's one of those things like using hypnosis to get somebody to quit smoking. Is it hypnosis? Yeah, but it benefited them if you can get them to quit smoking. So used in the wrong way for an immoral or unethical purpose, it would be manipulation and trickery, but used in your customer's behalf, on their behalf, and for their benefit, where everybody wins, it's simply persuasion. And I truly believe that. So, yeah, you need to learn. Now, I teach this to my coaching clients. I've got a workshop in there called I call it 30-second selling, and it's how to get anybody to say yes to you at least 5 times, plus give you a conditional commitment to do business with you, all in 30 seconds or less. And my feeling behind the 30 seconds is, and I truly believe, if you can't sell somebody something in 30 seconds, you're probably not going to sell them, because you're going to buy it 30 seconds. If they're not already bought in, you've gotten them confused, and a lot of problems have developed in their brain. So I taught this to a guy who was in the job market. He was going in for a job interview, and he came to one of my workshops, and it was selling service contracts to big buildings that had elevators in them, service contracts on these elevators all over the country. He said, man, this would be a dream job. And so we went over this technique again over the phone. He had been to my workshop, but we brushed up on it, and he said, I'm going to go in and really do this. I'm working on it. So he used it, the 30-second selling, and, to get him to say yes, yes, yes over and over. And he called me, and a couple of weeks later, he said, man, he said, I got to thank you. He said, I got the job. He said, they hired me, and he said, when the guy told me, he said, we're offering you the job. It's yours. And he said, we shook hands, and the guy said, the guy kind of leaned back in his chair, and he said, now, you want to know why I hired you? And he said, yeah, I do. He said, well, because I just found out I couldn't say no to you. He said, it was weird. But he said, I figured that if I couldn't say no to you, neither could all of those people out there that we want to sell elevator contracts to. So that's just kind of the proof in the pudding there. The guy didn't even realize what happened. He said, I just found that I couldn't say no to you. So it really works. And if you just learn to ask questions that are going to always end in a yes answer, and have several questions, have a dozen questions, the more the better that you're going to ask that homeowner, and they're going to be saying yes to you over and over and over again. And then when you say, well, would you like to go ahead and could we get you scheduled and go ahead and take care of this problem? The odds of them saying no at that point becomes completely disjointed. I mean, they're going to say yes almost every time. So very important that you learn this strategy of asking questions that always end in yes. And you wrap it up, Mike, and take it home.
Well, Hal, it's not wrong, immoral, illegal, unethical, or evil to help people. And if you don't believe with all your heart and passion that what you do helps people, then you really need to think about using the techniques. But I've never heard anybody say that what they do, whether it's a pest control agency or any kind of business, that if they're honest and ethical are going to say, I don't believe in what I do. Like you said, when you had your pest control agency, you knew you gave the best service compared to your competitors. You knew that you could solve people's problems, and you were passionate about making sure that you help people get the problem solved. And so when you know that is your situation, you have that moral obligation to not program a prospect into a path of negativity. And you program the subconscious into negativity when you ask questions that are always getting no answers. And then when it comes time to ask for the close, or in other words, to ask for the order, you need to, when you have a good prospect who needs your services, and you're in front of him, and you don't ask for the order, you're not going to get it. So I remember Larry taught me something years ago, and he always, in his close, no matter what the business or the sale was, he would ask this question. I always thought was great. Can you name 3 homeowners around here, or whatever? That would be an example. He used to say 3 scenarios. We used to do this with selling jingles. And he would say, name Hal, let's just do it, just to show you how it works. Name a soda, famous soda.
Coca-Cola.
Name a famous airline.
Delta.
Name a famous burger place.
Burger King.
Okay. At some point in history, at all 3 of those companies, they had to ask if it was a wise decision to get an original jingle for their business. Now, what did they say at Coca-Cola?
Things go better with Coke.
And what was what was the decision that they made at Coca-Cola? Yes.
They made yes.
Okay. And what was the decision they made at Delta?
They said yes.
And what did they say at McDonald's?
Yes.
So what are you and now what are you going to say, Hal?
I guess I'm going to say yes too.
Okay. It doesn't matter. You design the questions to get right up to your close, preceded with yeses, it's going to be really hard for somebody that when you've really proven that you're what you say you are, to get a no. And just remember Google it. Hey, get back to my Google. Google it. See what negative programming does to people. And all I'm saying is, if you expect to be a successful business, you better master marketing and sales. And it's your choice to either get the yes or get a whole lot of no's, because you're never going to pay the bills with a lot of no's.
There you go. There you go. Well, Mike, once again, I have enjoyed this, my friend, and I think we got some good information today. It's very simple. So are we ready to wrap this one up?
Wrap her up.
All right. You have a great day, and folks, thanks for listening to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast in iTunes and on your phones, and in Stitcher on your Android. But more importantly, go to our website, pestcontrolmarketingpodcast.com. Subscribe to our email list to always be notified of new episodes. You're never going to want to miss what we got coming up next, and you never know what we're going to be able to do to help you with your pest control marketing.